Welcome. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the David F Haas Podcast. Here in the studio alone today. It's all good. Got some guests coming eventually. I'm sure of it. I'm attracting them into my podcast room as we speak here. But today's podcast, I think, is a really important one. I was discussing this with one of my clients yesterday, and I just think that this is something that we really need to discuss. And it's this idea of grind, hustle, hard work, and how we have romanticized or glamorized the grind. You see people posting, rise and grind and hustling. Every day I'm hustling, and there's songs made about it. What I'm here to kind of say to you today is that this has been a lie that you've been sold. Is that in order to have success, in order to have happiness, in order to have the things that you want in your life, you need to sacrifice. You need to grind. You need to work hard. And I know that this podcast will get there's some pushback because the hard workers of the world believe that the reason that they're successful is because they've worked hard. And I'm not here to say that you don't have to work. So let's try and make that clear. And I'm going to try and make that clear through this podcast. But essentially it's this, recently I'm in the process of opening up a retreat center. I'm working essentially 12 hours every day. And I still have my coaching clients. I have evening group sessions. So like I'm pushing it. So Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm coaching 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. essentially, or later, 9 p.m. sometimes. And then every other day of the week, including Sundays, I'm out at the property doing work. And some people would say I'm grinding and I'm hustling, but it's just a matter of doing a little recontextualization and stopping to recognize the language that we're using. Because if you're building something that you're passionate about and you have surrendered the outcome over to a higher power of your understanding, there's no need to grind or hustle or sacrifice anything. While I am spending less time with my family and I am putting in long hours and I am tired at the end of the day, I still don't feel like it's a sacrifice. I feel like it's a higher calling is actually what I really feel like it is. And I feel like I'm being guided by that higher power. And it's giving me the energy, and it's giving me the dedication to fulfill what I think is a big missing need in today's world, which is having a place for people to go to reconnect to nature, reconnect to them true selves, reconnect to, for me, it's God or higher power of their understanding. So there is no grind, there is no hustle, and just the using those words will get us into that mindset. And essentially, what the mindset is I'm keeping my head down now. I'm working hard now so I can have happiness in the future. And this is where I was stuck for the better part of my life. I was like, I'm just going to work hard until I get to where I want to be. And for me, where I wanted to be was a millionaire. I wanted to have $1 million in the bank. And in order for me to do that, I thought it was necessary for me to grind, hustle, and sacrifice, right? And it wasn't until I started coming to this realization that is like a really backwards way of doing things. It's like, why would we sacrifice 10 years of keeping our head down and grinding and hustling, working hard and sacrificing and not enjoying life so we can enjoy life 10 years from now? It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, why not learn how to enjoy life right in this moment? Now, here is the kicker, is that once you learn how to become how you want to be in the future before you even get there, then your future goals just manifest into your life. This is actually the process of manifesting. It's like, we're not attached to the money. We're not trying to get the money. And you can tell yourself whatever it is we want to tell yourself, but you're trying to get the feeling of having money. And what is that feeling of having money? It's a feeling of freedom. It's a feeling of security. It's a feeling of power, maybe, it's a feeling of proving accomplishment, right? So these are some of the things that I connected to over the course of my life. And so at one point in my life, I came to this realization that my desire for money was actually blocking me from obtaining money, from getting money into my life and bringing money into my life. But I didn't want to let go of my desire, obviously, because a lot of us we believe that if we let go of our desire, we're not going to get it. But I knew from the work I was doing, I could see it on the other side because I had experienced such an amazing shift, and I was blocked on this one thing, which was desire. I was blocked on this one thing of putting my happiness in the future, and so I sat one day and I said, well, what's with my desire? Like, why is it here? And then I was brought back to this moment in time, and it was all connected to shame growing up around the way I grew up, not having as much as other people had, not having the nice clothes. There's a bunch of other things I'm not going to go into. You can listen to my old podcast. I'll tell you about them. But essentially, I recognized that it was the shame that I was avoiding feeling. And once I allowed myself to free myself from that shame, then the desire reduced dramatically. My survival pattern was I need to get in order to feel better about myself. But once I just started dealing with what it was that I was holding on to and started feeling better about myself, I started being happy in the moment, then everything that I had ever once desired began to flow into my life. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, for a minute, I just want you to think that, to allow this thought to enter your mind, that the lie that you have been told that grind, hustle, sacrifice, hard work are the things that you need to do to have success could be wrong. Or the belief that you have, I shouldn't say the lie, the belief that you have that these are the things that you need to do to find success, that all could be a lie. And maybe you have it all wrong. Maybe you're doing it backwards. And that's exactly what I have experienced in my own life, is that I had done it all wrong. Instead of, I was trying to get money to be happy, but it was the reverse. I needed to learn how to be happy to get money. And once I did that, once I just started becoming happier, and then the question is, well, how did you start becoming happier? Well, the answer to that is I dedicated my life to personal and spiritual development. And through that process, I began letting go of who I had become and started connecting to who I truly was. Right? So when we're born, we're this perfect, innocent being. We are a blank slate. But then things start happening to us that pull us further and further away from who we truly are. So let me give you some examples. I experienced shame as a kid. I developed the program and the belief systems and the survival pattern that I needed to make money so to never feel that shame of having less than other people. So my whole entire life was dedicated to not doing this. And this is all subconscious. I had no clue what was happening, right? So on the surface, on a conscious level, I was saying I was happy, but I was miserable. And it wasn't until I was able to finally shine the light of awareness on this that I truly started to learn how to let go of all of those things that I was still holding on to. As I started doing this work, I just started becoming more happy, right? And you can imagine why that would happen, because avoiding and resisting feelings takes energy, right? Resisting the feeling of shame my entire life took a ton of energy. And that energy to me was in the form of grinding and hustling and working hard. Once I felt and dealt with the shame, I no longer had this need to be like, oh, I need to go out and prove to people that I did it. I was like, there's nothing to prove here. I'm free of the shame. The proving only came because of the shame. The need to prove only came because of the shame that I felt. Once I felt shame, I no longer needed to prove to anyone. And then that weight was just lifted off my shoulders. And when that weight was lifted off my shoulders, I was like, oh, it's just so much more at ease. I took a lean back in my chair and I said, oh my God, I just feel so much lighter and happier. And then because I stopped using the energy to suppress those bad emotions, I opened up the door to start allowing good emotions in. And I can pinpoint the moment in my life, and I remember it was my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time. We were doing a bunch of CrossFit, and she box jumped into bed. She was in her bra and underwear. She box jumped into bed. She probably doesn't want me telling this story, but she box jumped into bed, and I could feel myself wanting to laugh but not allowing it. But I recognized that that's who I was before. I was this miserable person that wasn't going to allow myself to be happy until I got to where I wanted to go. But then I started clearing some room. I started dealing with all this BS that I've been holding on to for my entire life. And then she box jumps in the bed and I catch myself blocking. I said, no, stop blocking it, let it in. And then I laughed so hard, like as hard as I could ever imagine laughing. We laughed for like 30 minutes straight and we couldn't even get to sleep. And that was the first time that I had ever laughed like that, from the time that I was 9 years old to the time I was 17 when I started using alcohol, and then laughter came in. And again, when I stopped using alcohol, it was about 3 years later that I finally laughed like that. I started reconnecting to who I truly was, which was just a happy-go-lucky, goofy, fun-loving person. But I had been so far removed from that, and the only way I knew how to get there in the past was the use of alcohol. Once I realized that was all false and fake, I needed to learn how to get there on my own, and that was the moment where I started allowing joy again. So now I was this person. I was happy. I was happy all the time. I started allowing joy. There was more moments after that of just more laughter. I let go of the grind and the hustle. I started connecting to the process. I got aligned with my true purpose, my passion, which is coaching and helping and teaching people. And then guess what? All the money that I ever needed began flowing into my life. So this is once I made this realization that we're all doing it backwards. There doesn't have to be a grind. There doesn't have to be a sacrifice. There doesn't have to be hard work. You can still work, but this doesn't have to be hard, right? Like what I'm doing right now, what people would say it's hard work, 12 hours a day. I'm actually out there physically doing landscaping and stuff. People would say it's hard work, but it's like, it's not hard work to me. It's when I'm connected to a greater purpose. To me, it's like I'm happy that I go and get to do and create this thing, right? When I'm coaching clients from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. every night, it's not hard work. It's passion. I love doing it, right? So it's just a little recontextualization. So now, with this new knowledge, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. It's like, what is it that you're working hard for, right? What is it exactly? It's not money. Yeah, it is money essentially, but how is money going to make you feel? The next question is, why don't you feel that way right now? What is blocking that from coming into your life? And then what do you need to subtract? What do you need to let go of? We're all looking to add, and this is a big thing I've been on lately, if you've been following any of my stuff. We're all looking to add something out there in order to find happiness, And in order for us to find true happiness, it's not about adding anything. It's actually about letting go and getting connected to who we truly are. And once we do that, all the happiness, all the joy, all the abundance that we'll ever need will begin to flow into our life. And it'll all flow into our life literally effortlessly. And this is where I get pushback from people when they say it's effortless. It's like, well, it's not effortless. You're working 12 hours a day. Well, yeah, I know, but it doesn't feel like effort. So is it effortless? Yes, 100%. It's effortless. Okay. So you can have this as well. You can have this effortless ease. Everything that I do right now is just attraction. It's all just flowing. It's all just easy. And is there resistance here and there? Yeah, 100%. But it's just like the water's going down the stream. Oh, there's a rock in the way. We just flow around it, right? And like that is the way things have been going for me probably for the last 5 or 6 years, where I'm just in this state of flow. And every now and then I do catch myself grinding and hustling and working hard again. But I just catch myself and pull myself out of that and recontextualize and say, no, I don't have to do this. I want to do this. I get to do this. And that recontextualization gets me realigned with the higher purpose, right? Which is helping people. For me, it's helping people, creating a resort retreat center that people are going to be able to come to and heal. So with that little simple awareness, first and foremost, and then the recontextualization, I get out of this mindset that I have to work hard. And that's what I'm really hoping that you pull from this podcast today, is that grind, hustle, and sacrifice is a lie that you've been told. It doesn't have to be that way. And just having the humility to let that in today, let that sink in. It's just like, even if it's just planting a seed, if you just allow that to sink in, then you're going to start to notice, you're going to start to tune your awareness into how you have been glamorizing the grind, right? And it's like, well, why are we glamorizing killing ourselves? That's about the last thing that we ever want to do. We don't want to work hard today for success in the future. We want to enjoy every moment of every second. And that is possible. That's what I'm experiencing in my own personal life. I'm here in the podcast studio Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. recording this podcast, and I'm loving it. I'm loving delivering the content to anyone that's listening. So this is the way that it can be. And if you start answering these questions, why you want success, how you're trying to feel, why you don't feel that way right now, right? Start getting to the root of where these things happened, then you can experience what I'm experiencing. You can let go of the grind. You can let go of the hustle. And it's hard to, because people give you the pat on the back. There's fuel in it. People see us working hard. Oh, that guy works so hard, But it's like, I experienced a moment in my life where I was in this transitory space where I wasn't working hard at all. And guess what? People were envious of that as well. I remember I sail with this doctor, and he said to me one day, "Don't you work?" And I could sense the envy that was in that statement, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm here to enjoy my life, and in this moment right now where I'm at, I'm not working very hard, and I'm just enjoying it all. I'm letting it all flow, and it was a great period in my life, but that." It got old, and I was like, hey, I'm not fulfilling my purpose and my passion. And that was right in between the launch of my coaching business, and now I'm in this place of opening this retreat center. So that envy that we crave of being the hard worker, you can also get it from being a person that's just got everything flowing. And I think the last thing I want to leave you with, and I've said this in a lot of podcasts, but wanting and worrying they go hand in hand. They're both completely useless. So the description or the example I give in this is like, you get off a hard day of work and you get into your car and you really want to get home, right? So what does that look like when you want to get home? You're driving fast, you're trying to send text messages, talk to people on the phone as you're driving, you're changing lanes, you're getting road rage, you're honking at people that are, not going right away when the light turns green. You just really, really want to get home. And that is like what wanting to get home looks like. But you could also just let go of that wanting to get home and drive home, and both have the exact same result. So you could just let go of all wanting. And it's a very hard concept to grasp, but it's like you're going to get to where you're going to, you want to go without having to want it. It's going to happen. You just, instead of wanting it, just allow it. So if you catch yourself in wanting mode, just say, oh no, I understand, and I believe, and I have faith that this is going to come into my life. I don't need to want anything. I can let go of the want, and I can let go of the outcome, and I can just do. I can just be, and allow that to flow into your life. And that will also help you get out of this grind hustle mode, because the reason that we're grinding and hustle is because we want something. If we let go of the wanting, then there is no more grind and hustle. It all becomes easy and effortless. Anyways, beat that one to death. I apologize, but I hope it served you, and I'd love to hear some comments, some feedback. If you want me to expand or elaborate on this thing, hit me up. And don't forget, every single Wednesday I'm releasing a new podcast, so make sure you turn on the notifications bell so you get notified. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you click that subscribe button, click that thumbs up button. And thanks for taking the time to listen.